Every game has its own villain, from the huge and oh so powerful to the more intelligent ones with the best plans. But some of these villains had no success, while others had huge success and conquered the world. Now let's do a top 5 Zelda villains. Number 5. What I'm going to say now is going to be questioned, I'm sure of this. Because my number 5 might be too low for a lot of people. They would place him higher up the list. But I'm not going to do that. Ganondorf, the main antagonist of the Legend of Zelda series. He has been present since the first game, The Legend of Zelda, and has been presented or referred to in most. Introduced in The Legend of Zelda simply as the monstrous Prince of Darkness, Ganondorf's character has seen much development throughout the series, from being a simple monster to a powerful warlock with deeper motives to his actions. As the manifestation of the Demon King Demise's hatred for the goddess and her chosen hero, or according to Hyrule Historia the reincarnation of Demise himself, Ganondorf is destined to eternally reincarnate to pursue world domination. In most cases though, he makes a return after being resurrected or breaking a seal. For a lot of people, Ganondorf is the classic Zelda villain, and also the best one, but I'm not really a fan of him. He's just a bit boring to me. We have fought him so many times and it gets so predictable and the same. But still, he's the one and only King of Evil, he's a really cool villain in Ocarina of Time, his final form looks great and his story is also very interesting and important. Ganondorf, the one and only King of Evil. Number 4. Now as a kid, I played a couple of 2D Zelda games on my Game Boy, like the Minish Cap and A Link to the Past. And there's one villain I can clearly remember, and I liked him a lot. Vaati, a reoccurring antagonist in the Legend of Zelda series. Vaati is selfish and self-serving, seeking only to fulfill his own personal desires. Having been corrupted by learning of the evil within the hearts of men, he instinctively seeks power. He is also shown to be cruel, cursing his former master upon becoming a sorcerer. He also displays considerable arrogance, believing himself capable of overpowering Link with ease on multiple occasions. He is also very lustful towards females, as demonstrated in The Legend of Zelda 4 Swords by his intuition to make Princess Zelda his bride, as well as his backstory involving the kidnapping of various maidens who caught his fancy. Vaati is a good villain because of his story. He went from a good guy and a young boy to an evil, more grown up and borderline psychotic person. Now from someone like Ganondorf we expect him to be pure evil because of the King of Evil thing. But Vaati really becomes evil and that makes it a better story in my opinion. Besides that, his boss forms look great. I like them a lot. Well, that's also because I really like the visuals of the Minish Cap. Number 3. I just said borderline psychotic. Well, I found a real psychopath. Zant, the Usurper King, one of the 2 main antagonists in The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. He's the self-proclaimed King of Twilight, although Midna claims he's the King of Shadows. Zant is a member of the Twilight, who usurps the throne of the Twilight Realm from Midna before the events of Twilight Princess. He often appears wearing a helmet that conceals his face, but removes it before the battle with Link, and is a powerful sorcerer and minion of Ganondorf. Presumably, Zant was to be next in line for the throne, but was skipped over and his position was filled by Midna instead. This led him to lose trust in the royal family of the Twilight Realm, which added on to the fact that he hated that the Twilight were trapped in the Twilight Realm like insects in a cage, which made him seek his own path. Eventually, Ganondorf grants him power so that he can take over the throne. Now if you want an example of a real, full-on psychotic person, then Zant is your guy. His behavior is random and weird, his ideas are twisted and completely messed up. He is insane and that's why I love him. A good villain has that little bit of weirdness to him. That weird psychotic behavior, just look at the boss battle with Zant. It's completely random and messed up. So yeah, his mind is... twisted. Number 2. Now he had to be on this list at one point. He's the real face of evil and the first in a line of many. Demise, one of the 2 primary antagonists in Skyward Sword, and serves as the final boss. Long ago, he and his horde of demons broke through a fissure in the earth and sought out the Triforce. However, he was defeated and sealed away by the goddess Hylia, and after the events of Skyward Sword, he was finally defeated by Link through the use of the Master Sword. Upon his defeat, Demise makes a claim that his hatred will not end, but will be reborn in the coming ages. The form of this evil is thought to be Ganon. Now before Skyward Sword we never really had a background story for Ganondorf, literally nothing. But then Skyward Sword and Demise came along and gave us a story, and a great one too. Demise looks badass and like the real deal, a dark, powerful and mighty boss. The boss fight with him is really cool and epic. You are transported to an alternate world which looks endless, and then the battle begins. Demise, the true face of evil. Number 1. My number 1 is a sinister villain, a mysterious villain and a disturbing villain. Majoras Mask, the mask that is the major plot point of the Legend of Zelda Majoras Mask. This ancient and powerful mask was once used in an ancient tribe's hexing rituals, and was later sealed away because of its evil magic, which was so great that it might cause the destruction of the entire world. The mask was later recovered by the Happy Mask Salesman, a mysterious collector and seller of masks who was eventually robbed of it by the Skull Kid. He then sought to use the mask's power to draw the moon out of orbit, and destroy the entire land of Termina by causing an impact between the moon and the planet. Now in my opinion, Majora is the best villain ever, in any video game. He's mysterious because of his vague and dark background story. Nobody really knows where he came from or who created him. He's disturbing because of his aggressive, weird, crazy behavior, and we can all see this in the boss battle against him. His plan of destroying the world with the moon gives the feeling of a real threat. It's coming closer and closer. You have 3 days and then it's done. Majora wins, so the stakes are high. So keep an eye on this dark and twisted villain. So in the end, the Majora's Mask comes out on top as the number 1 Zelda villain. Great that you've watched this video. I have more of these videos on my channel, so go take a look at them. And you might even subscribe, which would be great.